Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's lesson. And in today's lesson, as you can see on your screens, okay, we are going to look at the solution to the second class test, okay, core math class test to be more specific, okay, on these two topics, modular arithmetic and variation. So without much ado, quickly, let me go and walk you through the solution. And you have the various marks there. So as usual, you know. Okay, so indirectly, this is our marking scheme. So you use it to do your own marking. If there are any other issues, I will address it, okay, after you've gone through the video, you've reviewed what's the video. All right. Okay, so quickly, I'll address the major concern that came out of what yours solutions that you presented. But as always, like I said, please don't hesitate to let me know if there are any issues that you think I didn't address. Okay, so the very first question, question one, okay, which is a modulo question. That's what you have here. We're giving these two tables to complete in modulo 5. This one is addition table, this one is multiplication table. Okay, so you can see the completed table here. Okay, so here you are dealing with, you add, okay, these two numbers. So if I'm looking for the value of 2 plus 3, okay, I'll do 2 plus what? Plus 3, whatever that is. So it's rather 2 plus 2, forgive me. So I will do 2 plus 2, okay, which will give me 4. 4 mode 5 is what? 4. So you do same for all the values that you have there, the remaining values. Okay, then this one is multiplication. So that one, you also start from 2, okay, times 2, mode what? Mode 5. So 2 times 2 will give you what? Also 4. 4 mode 5 is what? Is still what? 4. Okay, so you do same for the rest. 2 times 3 will give you what? 6. 6 mode 5 is 1. You know, modulo has to do with remainder. Okay, so that will give you the completed table here. So the full table for this one is B3. B marks, 3 marks. Okay, 3 marks for each, this one as well. However, minus 1 for each, minus half for each error. And the error will be when you have, okay, either a wrong entry or you omit. Okay, you didn't write the value at all. So take note. So anytime you see, okay, any of these errors, subtract what, half of it. So 1 for each error. So take note. Okay, same for this table as well. Now, BI, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to use your table. So strictly, yeah, you need to underline, use your table. Anyway, I've advised you, whether the question says use the table or not. Okay, if you can use the table because usually it makes your work very simple and easy to work with. So that will be the idea. So here specifically, we're told. So we'll do 4 times 2. So you go to the multiplication table. So 4 times 2 before, I think we are using this our table, not this one, the completed table. So 4 times 2 will give you what? 3. So that is what you have here. Then plus 3 times 4. And 3 times 4, okay, it will give us what? 2. So 3 times 4, okay, will give us 2. So 2 is what? So in effect, you are going to get 3 plus what? 2. Okay, which will give us what? Your final answer. So at that point, you can draw your conclusion there. So therefore, this will be equal to your 3 plus 2, which you come to this table, 3 plus 2 will give you 0. So you write it there. So you have the marks, okay, allocated, so you can easily see. Then II, okay, M, so you are supposed to find M, okay, based on this equation that we are giving. So you know the possible values of M will be, okay, this side is multiplication. So it will be, whether it's multiplication or the possible values of M will be your values that you can see in your table, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So you test for each of them. Okay, and if you do that, the one that will satisfy will be 2. I told you that you only show your solution evidence of work for the one, okay, that satisfies. So here we know that 2 times 2, okay, will give you what? 2. Okay, which is the same as 2 plus what? 2, which will give you, so 2 times 2 will give you what? 4, which is the same as 2 plus 2, which is what? 4. So in this case, it is 2 that will fit the place of what? Only 2. If you do 1 times 1, that will give you 1. 1 mode, what do you call it? 5 will give you 1. However, this will be 1 plus 1. That will give you 2. 2 mode 5 is 2. So 1 obviously is not equal to 2. So it's only 2 that satisfies. So you provide evidence, then it means if you compare you know that M will be equal to 2. So therefore, M is equal to 2. Then the last one, you underline true sets. Don't forget. Okay, you know the critical. Okay, so meaning if you don't leave your answer in the set from which some of you did it. So you know you lost marks that you were not. I've given you all the all the advice for you to set your marks, but our marks, the low hanging ones especially. So in this case, and the possible values of n on the face of it will be 1, the test for each of them. So you do 3, you're assuming n is equal to 1, you do 8. And if you do that, that will not satisfy, 2 will not satisfy, only 3 will satisfy. Okay, so 3 plus 3 give you the same result as 2, okay, times 3. 3 plus 3 will give you what? 6. 2 times 3 will give you what? 6. And 6 mode 5, okay, will give you 1. Okay, 6 mode 5 here will also give you 1. So it means it's only 3 that will satisfy. So you provide evidence of work, okay, for the 3, where you place the n by 3. Okay, so at that point, you know your n. So you go and conclude. However, here you are asked to find the true set, so you conclude in the true set form. That will be it for question 1. And in all, okay, this will be 15 marks. This will be 3, 3. So the whole of the A will be, okay, 6. And please take note, those of you who didn't number appropriately. And here, instead of writing modulo 5, you can write 5, 5. Okay, you need to write it on top. It's very critical, but you can choose not to write it in full. Use the notation. So at this point, this will be 2.5 for the whole of this. Okay, so then this will also 2.5. Then the whole of this will be, if you sum everything, you get 50 marks. So take note of that. That will be it for question 1. So quickly, I'm going to move you to question 2. Okay, question 2, as you can see, it's a variation question, but let's see. Let's determine the nature of the variation. We are told, in this particular question, take note, it is a current question, okay, it is a core maths question for Nigeria WASI 2024. So if you are able to do it, then it means indirectly, you've been able to do what do you call it, a current past question, sort of. So in this case, we are giving a time t, taking, okay, so you know, taking to, okay, so fuel, the time t taking to buy is supposed to be buy. Okay, so the U didn't come, so please take note. To buy a fuel at a filling station varies directly as the number of vehicles being, okay, in a queue, and varies. So obviously, we know we are dealing with a joint variation. Okay, so we have the various information there. So you know, T varies directly as V, and okay, indirectly, which is inversely as it's V occupying the numerator. The direct one will be numerator, the inverse one will be, you know, don't forget this, your variation notation. Then when you move from the variation to the relation, okay, notation, or we are going to introduce the equal to, then introduce the K. Okay, so it will be K times V over P, which is the KV over P. So K will be equal to, remember, don't forget to define your variation constant, your K. Okay, so failure to define your variation constant, I won't use a value. B0, take note. Okay, I will not be lenient here. It will be B0 if you fail to define your variation constant. So take note and mark as such. Then, you know, okay, if I know the values of T, P, and V, I can find the K. For the question first of all asks us to find the relationship between T, P, and V. But what I have here is the relationship between T, P, okay, V, and K. So you need to go and find the value of K because your relation you shouldn't get K in it. And in order to find K, you can make use of the information here. Okay, so if T is equal to 10, okay, your V is equal to 20, and you also know that your P is equal to 5. So you substitute, then you solve for your K. Okay, so failure to, you know, when you get here, you need to write it again before you divide. If you don't, then you will lose this marks. Take note of that. So your K will be 5 on 2. Remember, you're not asked to find K, so you cannot draw directly to find K. You can't draw your conclusion with K. Okay, so this is A half. Now your conclusion, because you know K, in actual fact, what you have there will be your K, which is 5. over 2, then times your, remember it is KV, okay, over P. So K times V over 2, which will give you 5V over what 2. And that's exactly what she has here, or what is here. So this will be A to take note of that. Okay, once you know, okay, your T relation, which is in terms of V and P, you can now predict anything. Okay, so here you are asked to find a time taking, how to find a to fuel. Okay, so in this case, your V, so the number of vehicles, okay, 50, which is V, and number of forms, okay, to give us what to, which is what is represented by the. Okay, so we are giving V will be, if V is equal to 50 and P is equal to 2. Substitute and you get what T to be, what we have here. So it is, you can, for time, you can leave it in terms of decimal. If you change, if you use this number 2, there is no problem with that. But don't forget your units. So if you conclude with a decimal, that's okay. I've told you if possible, avoid the decimal. So she did exactly that. You cannot conclude with this. This is an improper fraction. So if you concluded with this, even with a unit, you will lose the mark. Okay. If you change it to mixed numbers or even decimal, you don't attach the units, you still get A0. Take note of that. So at this point, we move on to C straight away. The number of forms. Okay, so you are looking for P. Okay, giving T, okay, and V. Okay, so if V is equal to 40 and T is equal to 20, okay, you go and substitute, okay, simplify your result, and you end up getting E to be equal to 5 points. And you know, P didn't come by way of your own introduction, the T2, so you can conclude with it because the question defined the T and the P, so you can conclude with that. So those of you who wrote, therefore, the time that you know is no, you are looking, the time you know is T, so conclude with T. The number of forms, in this case, the number of forms in the question we know is represented by. So when you get your people, okay, unless maybe you introduce, that's why at this point, go back and go. Maybe therefore the number of forms 5 or therefore, okay, 5 forms. Right. Okay, so that will be it for question number 2. Okay, so question number 3, equally a variation question. Okay, for A. Okay, however, the B is that of what? Modular, okay, question. So here we are told, we are giving, so indirectly, we are told that in this table, okay, W varies, okay, directly as Q and inversely as the square of R. That's what we have here. But the question gives you the relation in math form, though usually you'll see it in the English form. So it means indirectly one not has been applied for. Okay, so where, okay, you know, and you underline that this is very critical, positive integers. So you know your W, R, Q are positive integers. So here you are asked to solve for W sub 2 and R sub 3, which is this value and that value. Okay, so in this case, before you can solve, you know you have to move from the variation statement to the relation statement. Immediately you move, your K must be introduced and you define your K. Again, without the definition of K, lose the entire B mark. Okay, then our numbers are supposed to be minus half. Okay, but because I won't use the value, I am not going to be lenient. So it will be B0 so that you learn your lesson maybe the hard way. Okay, so at this point, we know if I want to find K, because I need to get a relation, okay, for W in terms of Q and what, and your R. Okay, so what do? I go in the question, you go for the column or the row. Okay, now in other fact, okay, the row in this case that you have all the value, no W, no R, okay, Q. And that's if W is equal to 3, R is equal to 4, and Q is equal to, you substitute, simplify, and you cannot write that point. If you go there for here, you know, okay, you just a wasted time, and I will circle it and maybe punish you of some sort, deduct some part. Okay, so at this point, you are not asked to find a relation here directly, so you can still not draw your conclusion. What you are doing here is still a means to an end. So this implies that not therefore, this implies that W will be equal to, okay, K, which is what? 12 then Q over R squared. Now that we know this relation, we can find, okay, all the missing entries with the table. So, you know, if I want to find W2 sub 2, okay, I have to use this R and this 2. Okay, look at it. So if R is equal to 1 and Q is equal to 2, I can find W sub 2. Okay, so please take note. So the notation here ideally should have been this not W2. The sub should appear as a sub. So then you bring your sub 2. Take note. This is looking like the next time when you are writing it, write it for. Okay, so take note of that. So if you substitute, you end up getting W sub 2 to be equal to 24. So therefore, you have to find W sub 2. You conclude, or someone can hold on and come and draw the conclusion together for the two of them, because the question asks you to find the two of them, okay, at the same time, I mean, together. So again, if you want to find the R sub 3, you have to use this rule. Okay, convenient to use this rule. So what do you call it? You should know the W and the R, which is given. So did I say W and the R? W and the Q, which is given. Then you substitute, you simplify just like the other one. Okay, and you know, this one you could have written instead of R sub 3, okay, the sub didn't appear well. So to be R sub 3, okay, squared, instead of after squaring, this will be your result after removing the bracket. But she decided not to remove the bracket. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe it wouldn't appear pretty to her because she wrote hers this way. So it will be some way, but it's basically the same thing. You can remove the bracket, you get that, then you come and take the square root. And here, when you are taking the square, remember, you ask yourself that vital question. Whatever that you are looking for, okay, can it be positive and negative at the same time? If not, know what to do. So here we are told that your W, okay, all the values here should be positive. So it means this W sub 2 should also be positive. So you take only the positive square root. If you take the plus or minus, then you have to discard the negative in the long run. If you didn't discard it, you get your answer wrong. But everything will be right. Only that your conclusion will be wrong. You conclude the plus or minus 3. So take note of that. So that will be it for question 3A. Now, if you come to B, okay, X is a positive integer, so positive integer. Find the least value, so you underline this. Least value. So you know, this type of equation, we are looking at the number to be converted is where you have your known. Your modular results, you know, which is the remainder you know, and the modular is service. So you said when you have that situation, you need to go for your replacement set. And your replacement set will be the set of remainders under the modular, which is 8. Okay, so the set of remainder will be 0 up to what? Up to 7. So you test for each of them. Okay, you place each of them, the x by each of them, and see whether, and if you do so, okay, you know you are going to move in this direction. Remember, because we are looking for least, and you are looking for 0, 1, 2, up to what? Up to 7. As your set of possible remainders, you move in this direction. So immediately you get the first one that will satisfy, that will be the least. Even if you have the subsequent one, all of them satisfy, none of them will be greater than that. Remember, I gave you that three. So here, you can see the person that did not underline the salient part, so wasted our time and therefore had the wrong conclusion. So we are looking for the least. So take note, pay particular attention to detail. Don't think the question is the usual one. Now remember in class, I told you to be wary of this. So in this case, it's 0 will not satisfy, 1 will not satisfy, 2 will not satisfy. So you are moving in this direction. If you are asked to find the largest, then we have moved in this direction, remember. So that immediately you get the first one, that's satisfied, that automatically becomes the answer. So in this case, it is only, 3 will satisfy, 7 will also satisfy, all right. And what we are looking for the least, okay, you settle on 3 as your answer. So therefore, X or 7, because we said least. So we are looking for only one value, least value. Okay, so that will be it for question number 3. Now let's quickly go and look at question number 4. And remember this question, okay, so question 3, the total mass will be 20. I think question 2, I didn't say it. The total mass will be, you've been with me for a while, so total mass there. Okay, so take note of that. And that of what? This will be 20. So we are going to move on to question 4. So this question, we did it in class. I walked you through, but we didn't write everything. So I gave you a hint as to, or I gave you a guide as to how to deal with it. In this case, the cost C of producing n bricks is the sum of a fixed number. So perfect. Given your C, your small c, is equal to h plus y. Because we know, okay, from the question. Then again, we are told here y varies directly as n. So it means y varies directly as n. And this implies that y will be n. Once you introduce your k, don't forget to define that. So she did that, and you can see. Okay, B1 for that one after. Here, you cannot draw your conclusion. Okay, you cannot draw your conclusion. So there shouldn't be any therefore here. Take note of that. So at this point, you are asked to find the relationship between C, H, and what? And N. C, H, and N. But my relationship here, because I know that Y is N, then C becomes C equal to H plus Y, which is now K, and that's what she has here. So you shouldn't write therefore, it should be implies. Then, okay, this relation has C in terms of H, K, and N. But here we want the relationship between this. You see these three unknowns, okay, there. So it means the K, okay, must go. So you have to go and look for the value of K. So you know, obviously we are dealing with it. Once you see this term, you should know that we are dealing with partial derivation. So we need to generate two equations before we can solve for these two unknowns, H and what, and K. So the first equation will come from the first statement that we have there. Because the C, when the C is this, okay, you know your N is what you have here, so you substitute. When the C is this, your N is this, you substitute. So that will give you your first and the second equation respectively. And you can see that obviously the person I intentionally picked this didn't hit to know what she did here wasn't costly. But I've told you, especially in a situation where you have a constrained page, okay, or paper, okay, you might be locked somewhere, meaning you need some space to write. Meanwhile, okay, you have a lot to write, and the space will not exist. So I've told you, this will always be short. So when you are starting writing, write close to the margin, then comma. So this, okay, step here, what you've written here, that have been written here, you save the line. The same way, what you have here, move it to the side, comma, and bring this one up here. You saved another line, 2 lines. So take note of that. Okay, so at this point, when the K was found, the K, you can avoid decimal. I think that would be 1/5. You can avoid the decimal as well. Okay, there is nothing wrong with that. So yeah, the decimal here is exact. So no issues. Okay, however, the reason why we usually want you to avoid using decimal is that sometimes the decimal must be an absolute one. So it is better you state actual value. So at this point, what do? You know, okay, you are going to even this one is supposed to be into 3 into, not into. So don't forget. Okay, I almost forgot to say that. So at this point, once you know, you can come and solve for your H. So H will be this. And once you know K, like I said, you can draw your conclusion. So this, okay, conclusion here would have been, okay, up, okay, there, somewhere, before you even find your age. But going forward, you need your age. So per experience, okay, she knows that she has to find the age somewhere. So she found the age and concluded with what? With this. However, please take note, if you concluded with the age value put there, okay, meaning if you wrote C is equal to 830 plus, okay, 0.2n or plus 1/5n, there is nothing wrong with that. It is still a relationship between C, H, and what? And N. Because H here you were told is a constant. So you have put the constant, okay, there. Take note of that. The question said that, okay, and a fixed amount. So once it's fixed, then it means a constant. However, like I said, ideally, okay, leave this in your relation. See, let it be obvious to be seen. Okay, so now what do we have? You can quickly, once A is done, you can go and find what? Provided you found the H. Okay, so here H is found. So when, okay, they are asked to find the C, the cost of producing for our N to 500. If N is equal to 500, you know your H already. So you substitute. Okay, then this will give you, please don't skip the step. Don't straight away. Let each of the terms be explicit. Don't do it straight away. So here, she ignored the step. So she will miss, okay, this step, the marks for that. So after getting a value for this, then you can use the calculator straight away. So you cannot use, because this term is not explicit. You need to get just a term. So it will be 0.2 times this, or 1/5 times this. Okay. C was also introduced in a person. Okay, so you can conclude with C. And if you ignore the currency, okay, please, or even the two dots, I mean the dot and the two zeros, okay, it won't give you the full score. However, if you ignore the currency, it will be A0. But if you ignore the currency and you ignore the two zeros here after the decimal, okay, then it will be -half. Take note of that. And that will give you 18 marks. So in all, the total would have been, okay, 69. But if you sum your total and you get 67 up to 69, okay, you get a bonus of 1, so +1. Okay, so this bonus marks, okay, is only available for those who score 67 and above. Take note. So if you had 67 plus 1 bonus, which will give you 68. If you had 68 plus 1 bonus, 65. If you had 69 plus 1 bonus, that will give you 70 marks. So take note of that. Okay, I've addressed all the major issues that, okay, came to bear, okay, from what you sent to me. So on this note, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Let me know if there are any issues after, okay, watching the video. God bless us all.